how easy is it to add different data to users? So we saw a little bit of that with the wine stuff, but Stuart, do you want to speak to that? Because I know that's really kind of crucial to the um,
Yeah,
help
of
for
course.
publishers.
So there's a couple of different ways we can add data to users. It can be stored directly on the user's profile. So I think the easiest way to think about it is almost like a key value pair, where the profile has a whole section data where you can put arbitrary key values in. So you can store any kind of random metadata that you want about your customer to make the site work within FusionAuth, and it will just be there until you remove it. And again, that's supported by the full REST spectrum of HTTP verbs. We can also store data against the registration object. So the thing that connects the user to a particular application, if there's something very specific there, say membership information or when that registration should expire, that can be stored there. Again, all very, very handy. And it can obviously be managed as well through the forms and the hosted pages that maybe you want to take us through, Dan.
Sure. Yeah. So that is actually a kind of a newish feature last couple of
Mm,
months. Really excited about that. But
yeah.
we've built the ability for administrators to manage any custom data they want within FusionAuth. So if it's tied to the user profile, users can admins can build forms, or one level of admin can build a form that other admins, other people with different roles within FusionAuth can use to edit that and keep that up to date. And I don't want to promise any future functionality, but it is on our roadmap to build it so that the users themselves can manage that profile data. If and that'll be within FusionAuth. Right now, you end up having to engage with a development agency like Powered by Coffee to build out that user profile update page, which with the APIs is not hard to do, but it's just one more thing that we say, why are we reinventing this wheel over and over again? The one thing I did want to say about the user data, we had a customer. I was talking to a customer the other day, and they found it super useful to be able to store kind of that arbitrary data for their migration process. So, for instance, they actually had like an old database, and they stored the key of that old database, the key of the user in that old database in FusionAuth, so that if they had an application that still needed to talk to that old database, the application could talk to FusionAuth, get that old user ID, and then still go and look up against that old legacy database. So they didn't have to do a full-scale migration of all their user data. That was what worked for their use case. But to me, that just shows the flexibility of being able to store, as Stewart said, the key value pairs of anything on the user or the registration objects.
Yeah, it's really, really useful. We've done similar where we've stored IDs from old migrations to be like, okay, if we need to match backwards, we can do that. Another kind of data feature we find quite handy is the ability to store things like consents
Mm.
directly against the user object. So if you're watching this and get a chance to go in and take one of the FusionAuth demos, have a look at some of the options that are given there for both the arbitrary data you can save against the user, but also the kind of predefined stuff. So things around like, is this registrant a part of a larger family? So connecting users up so that there's manageable consent there, actual consents for things like marketing or saying, yes, we've got permission to give this user particular things, all the way through to when did that user last log in? What is the kind of events process that they have gone through to get here? So it's a really rich and versatile data model for a user.